Hello!
Hello, AOS fans!
It's the agents of Marvel Crisis Protocol!
First Marvel Crisis Protocol Washup.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
And I forgot to add at the beginning, Lego Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Lego!
No, I'm not going to Lego. If you haven't watched the actual battle report, it will be in the description below. Do go and check that out, because from here on in, there will be spoilers.
Spoilers!
And just to stick it right at the start for a change, do give us likes, thumbs up, and follow us.
Please
and
do.
Let us know what you think of the video as well. So, Robin, what did you think of Marvel Crisis Protocol?
I enjoyed it. I spent a lot of my time not really knowing what was going on.
Yep.
It's funny, it felt in places similar to Kill Team.
Yeah.
Alternate activations, not knowing what the hell's going on.
Yeah, not having a clue whether you're doing the right thing or not, that kind of stuff.
I think, just as a general point, whoever said that this scenario is a little bit complicated to learn, I think that's right. I've still got 3 of my cards left.
Same here.
Because I couldn't work out how to use them.
I had one that I multiple times throughout the game went, I'm going to play this, and then I read it again and went, oh, I can't play that. Never mind.
You did do that.
I've got one which is I can heal people, which I forgot about, but only if they're not stunned. And then I've got another one which, if they would take collision damage, I can spend energy to not take collision damage.
We didn't do much chucking about, actually, did we? I chucked a car early and then didn't do much.
Yeah, I think it's because Captain Marvel, if she'd have been nearer the middle, she could have lobbed that middle piece of scenery.
Right.
I kind of really wish that when you lob scenery, it remains in the game ruined somehow.
Hard to do.
Yeah.
Easier with Lego.
Much easier. Oh, that's ruined. Smash.
But harder to do with your plastic.
Yeah, I mean, unless they provide a wrecked version of the car and stuff like that. Or you could just turn the car upside down and just say, you have to climb over or something like that. But, I mean, for me, gameplay mechanics-wise, it was mostly quite simple. I like the dice function, the fact that you roll the dice.
Yep.
And, I mean, I watched a video by Ash on Guerrilla Games, and obviously it wasn't a teaching game, so they were just rolling dice, and that did vaguely scare the bejesus out of me to start with. It's like, I'm rolling 5 dice, and then I'm going to re-roll these dice, and that one counts for this, and this one counts for that, and these are things that don't matter. And I was like, what's going on? And it's like, oh, and I've got this character, which means I can re-roll all the blank ones, and this, that, and the other. And to start with, I was very confused by it. But actually, in that game, I don't think we missed too many of the interactions there.
No, not with the dice.
No, not on the dice side.
And I think it's an interesting point about versus Kill Team is I find it quite difficult when we're rolling. It might partly because we roll them simultaneously, but when you've got numbers and the numbers that you need changes and the numbers that you need changes, I find that confusing and I don't quite know what's going on, and it's different if you get a crit and all that kind of stuff. Whereas in this case, it's very, very simple because the dice have got special symbols on it. It's more like Warhammer Underworld.
It's not like, I've rolled a 4. Is that a hit or is that a miss again? And I know people, probably anybody who plays Kill Team watching this is going to sit and go, well, it's obvious 3+. I mean, how much simpler do you want this game?
It is obvious, but it changes with each fighter. It changes, and then
if they're injured, it's minuses,
and then what you
stuff
roll
like that
changes. So you never quite know when you roll the dice. What has happened to you. You have to do a little processing thing. Here, it doesn't really matter. Yeah,
it's just you get a certain amount of dice. You might get more dice because of an ability if you spent energy or whatever. You roll them, and you know if you're attacking, you need the swirly, the crit, or the attack hit, and you know that if you're defending, you need the swirly, the crit, or the defense, and you know if you get a crit, you roll an extra dice.
Yeah, and it's almost nicer in the sense you can immediately see whether you've been lucky or unlucky.
Yeah,
and you're like, and you haven't got that thing. Whereas I've had it a couple of times in Kill Team, like, oh great, I've hit. Oh no, I've missed. I've actually
missed. I have lots of 4s, but I need 5s or something, whatever that kind of thing. And I don't want to go on too much about Kill Team because we're talking about MCP, but I do feel like MCP have simplified the dice mechanic a bit more.
It's more underworldy.
It does feel a bit more underworldy,
I guess.
I'm sure
lots more of them.
There's probably
more dice.
There are a lot more dice.
More sides.
It's a little bit of a shame that you get 10 d8s in the box, but you ideally probably want 20.
Yeah, well, you want to sell them extra.
There we go. The character cards themselves, again, they look very busy to start with, but once you start playing, it becomes quickly apparent that you don't get to use most of them a lot of the time.
It's not too bad. I think I didn't utilise Red Skull at all very well. He's got some really nice abilities, and I got a really good ability where I can actually take an activation token off somebody and use them again.
Ooh.
But I just ballsed it up every turn.
Just forgot it every time. Yeah, they are a bit trickier. I guess if you're building a team and you're building the cards you want to use, you're going to quickly learn the tactics for these things and know that you've got this thing, so you can do a special. Right, I'm going to move them in position. I'm going to play my card. I'm going to
I think
go, and then
probably if you're playing, I don't think it would have spoilt the game at all if we hadn't used them.
No, I don't think
and
so.
I think
although I did get to use my Ricochet blast, which frankly that was awesome.
That was really cool. That was really
not
cool moment
because it was effective or whatever, but just because it was cool thinking that he's blasting Cap's shield and ricocheting off.
Yeah, mine are a bit more. Passive isn't quite the right word, but I've got one here. When 2 ally characters are within 3 of the same injured enemy character, I can spend any amount of power to play this card, and then you lose power equal to the total amount spent. Well, that's.
I've got ones like that as well.
It could be really good,
people within range.
But I kept forgetting to use it. I'm not sure if I could have used it, but also.
We didn't get very many people near each other throughout most of the turns. Near the end here, we've got a bit more of a mess of characters going on, but by then it was kind of mostly all over. Yeah,
I definitely want to play it again because I really enjoyed it, and I think it will get a bit easier. It got a little bit easier on the cards. Like I said, there's a lot. Like you said, the cards are quite busy, and it is quite hard to remember what you need to do. But there aren't that many abilities that are on all the time. It tends to be, well, I'm going to make an attack now. Which one is the best one?
Which attack's my best one?
And I guess you'd learn that over time, especially if you're playing a lot and drawing from the same 10 each time.
Another thing is you've only got 5 models, so you've only got so much to do there. Whereas, and I know I'm comparing it to Kill Team again, but Kill Team, especially with the guard and stuff, you've got almost 10 completely different fights with 10 completely different sets of special abilities. And I don't know why it just felt a bit easier here. Maybe it's because there are less sort of in-play abilities and mission things going on and stuff like that. Everything's a bit easier to use. The mission cards that we had for the tokens, they were pretty simple. It's a case of be near it at the end of the turn.
Yeah, it was quite nice.
Or if you hold it, you get a point, and then they do something else at the beginning of the next turn and stuff. I know that's pretty much the same in a lot of games, it's just being near objectives, but it was nice to have the cards there to describe it rather than another page in a book that you have to look up stuff.
And it's got some really quirky... Not quirky, but I like the fact that it's got like an inbuilt. You don't have 2 turn activations in a row because that can be devastating. So you don't get one. You can never go last at the end of one turn and first at the end of the next. I really like that. Yeah. That's the antithesis to Age of Sigmar, where you can get that.
I also like the fact that when somebody takes enough wounds to get taken out, they're dazed. They can't be attacked again.
Yeah.
And then they're back the next round. They're on the injured side. I don't know. I haven't looked at the injured sides very much to see if that makes them a lot worse.
I don't think it does. They sometimes get extra abilities.
Yeah.
The only difference is they can't hold objectives so easily.
Yes, because they're injured, so they can't contest those things. I mean, Cap, he gets more health.
Right.
So, he suddenly gets a bit better in that respect. I think a lot of his abilities stay roughly the same. He's got a brilliant one when he's injured called I Can Do This All Day, which is if you get a blank on the dice, you count those as successes as well. So he then suddenly gets a lot tougher to take out.
Yeah, and I think...
I might have misread that one. Oh, no, I'm on the wrong side. Adds blanks in his defense roll to the total successes. So I like the fact that they get possibly a little tougher, if anything, as they...
Black Widow actually got one like that. But you have to be within range 2. And at no point were you within range 2. She has an ability that means you have to be within range 3.
Yeah.
You can't target her with range 4 attacks or outside of range 4. And then she has another one where I can count blanks as successes if you attack her from within range 2, but you never did.
Yeah.
So I never got to use it.
Another thing I like about this is it's funny because it's opposite to Kill Team, but it's something I like. In Kill Team, there aren't many ranges. Weapons can either hit anything or they have a really short range.
Yeah.
In this, you generally don't have very many things going on where you're attacking people the first round, because most things are like range 4, maybe there's a 5, but even a 5 isn't particularly long, so you're unlikely to be taking people out.
You'd almost have to have a double long move and then the other person move up and then have one attack. That's about as good as it could get. I do feel like you need more rulers, but that's always the way with these games.
Yes.
I do feel like another set of rulers would be good.
So I like the fact that the first round you're moving the position and grabbing some objectives and things. It might be different on different table sizes, or different missions might put you into the action quicker, but in this one at least, it didn't feel like straight away you were under pressure.
Yeah, I've not really looked at them, but there are different maps and things for where you set up objectives and stuff, depending on what you're doing, which is quite cool.
Now, one criticism I do have of this game, which we just mentioned here, are the rulers. Now, in one respect, they're awesome, because they're each plastically moulded. And I don't know if you can see this. I'll try and show it on this cam here. But on this, you can see there's like this blast effect where obviously when you put it next to your character, it's like they're firing a blast effect off at the person, stuff like that. They've each got something different on them.
Yeah, this one's really sexy.
And you can, that is awesome. That is really nice. And you can paint that up. And I know people are going to rude at what you're getting excited about. That's the bit I'm excited about. The bit I'm not excited about is the fact that we've got here, we've got a 5, a 3, a 2, we've got a 4. The end of the 2 is a 1. We've also got 3 different
ones.
Yeah. We've also then got 3 movement sizes, 7 freaking rulers. That annoys me a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't see why they couldn't have marked on the 5 the differences for the 4, the 3 and the 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose it's easier to measure, in theory.
Is it that much though? When I mean,
well,
in this game,
if you're tight in on the terrain and you want to do it,
possibly. If you're that close,
I suppose you know it's 5.
You know you're 5. Yeah,
I suppose so. Yeah.
So I feel like they could have. And I think
if you're 2 and it's like here, and it, like is it within 2, and then suddenly but it's still not difficult to do, is it?
It's still not that difficult.
No.
I feel like you could have had.
I guess there's nothing to stop you from doing that. You could just take the 5 and mark.
True.
Mark on, or even just get a ruler.
I would be tempted to get another piece of wood or plastic or something.
You can make it out of Lego.
Right, doing that. So yeah,
I don't know whether it fits exactly, but you can make it out of Lego.
You can make that fit. So that's the only thing that bugs me a little, is there are 7 different rulers. So you're constantly going, I want to do this. Oh, have you got it? Where is it? Where have we put the rulers? Whereas if you just had 2 rulers each, because you could fit all the ranges on it. You could have the movements, the attack ranges.
That's the point now.
Well, I mean, you can, and then I'll just make up Lego rulers for mine.
Lego rulers. I should want to use a Lego ruler.
So that's really the only downside I've got to this game. The rest of it played pretty quickly. We started. We were, I think, 2.5 hours ish.
For a first game, though, it felt okay. I'm sure we made mistakes. I know there are a couple of times we caught ourselves. We made mistakes.
Yeah,
and I'm sure we made others.
And a bit like when I'd stunned one of your fighters and they dropped the token, and we didn't realise I could place it within 2.
Yeah,
that
probably would have been a game changer.
That possibly could have changed the game a bit more, which is why I'm going to class this one as a draw.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. But you're welcome to class it as a draw, but we all know it was a win.
A win for common sense. So for me, overall, I give this a big plus. I love the fact that we've put the Lego into this.
Yeah. I hope you do too.
Yeah, hopefully you're not sitting there going, oh, they've used Lego, I want to see the proper models. To be honest, if we used the proper models, it'd be our paint job, so it wouldn't be that spectacular to look at anyway.
The other one, the official models are great.
They are really
fun to paint, and I reckon we probably will get there if we use what I want to do really. I suppose is use this to settle down onto the characters that we like.
Yeah.
And then invest the money in buying them.
Yeah.
I bought some of the models that I like already.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to test out different things, and then I'll probably buy the model and paint it up, and then maybe we'll play a game.
Yeah.
We probably could. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. We probably could use our Lego terrain with the plastic, because it's about the same. It's about the right scale. It's not too far off.
We could.
Yeah.
The other thing I like about this is that the rules are all online.
Yeah.
The character cards are all online. So we do have all of the models for this. We've just chosen to use Lego instead.
Yeah.
So we're not cheating. We're not stealing anything. But if you were if you're in a position where you're like, I don't know, maybe I want to play it. I don't really know. You'd have to find the ruler lengths. Yeah. But otherwise, you can get pretty much everything else. Even with the dice, you could, if you could be bothered, you could have one is this.
But
and
to be honest, if you forked out on the core set, you get everything.
How much is the core set?
It's about £60, £70, depending where you buy it for. It's not cheap. I think you'd still want to paint.
That's not bad though.
No, it's not. It's not bad. It's not bad. And I think you could then, because you wouldn't even need to build. If you could build the models that were in there and just use the terrain.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
But I quite like the Lego. But I think it's a good way to play. It's a fun way to play.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely.
There might be some characters that you can't do very easily. I mean, we have got a big Lego Thanos, but I really want to play Miss Marvel. She gets big, but there isn't a Lego Miss Marvel large model. But
I'm sure we could proxy something because it's only mostly the
not
base.
sure she's out yet. So
no, I mean even if she
the
was,
base, the base is
it's
what's
just the
important.
base. So you can just have her. I'm sure we could probably knock something up.
One other small thing I thought of, which because the game isn't idiot proof, because you have tokens on the cards. You mentioned about knocking them over.
Yeah, that does worry me.
I at one point accidentally picked up all the tokens.
Yep.
And then I didn't know where they went back.
Yep.
So there might have been a bookkeeping error in there as well, because basically when they're injured, they lose all their wounds and the card flips over. So I took all of the
cards.
I took all of the power off to flip them, and then I realised I had them all in my hand. I could turn the cards over. It's like so you just have to watch out for that. So that's a little bit of bookkeeping, but it's having the tokens does make that bookkeeping, I suppose, a little bit easier in the sense that you haven't got to write it all down all the time.
I do like the fact that most of the characters have a little gap at the bottom of the card. You can see it there, which usually is enough room to fit your tokens. I just feel like you almost want a little tray for the card to go in, so all the tokens stays in the tray.
I bet somebody makes those.
There must be somebody out there that's made them.
Somebody's made those.
What you ideally want is magnetised versions of the tokens, or something with a little metal backing to the token, and then a little magnetic tray that the card could go in.
Metallic paint. So paint the tokens with metallic paint, not metallic.
And a little
paint,
magnet thing on the back.
Magnetic paint.
But anyway, this is all nonsense now. For this game, I mean, all the symbols are nice and easy to work out.
What you're really saying is each character needs his own Lego dashboard.
Overall, this was our first game. There was 0 tester games, 0 prep really. We read, you read the rules beforehand, and then we pretty much just learnt it as we went along. So some of the decisions in the game, whilst they might be suboptimal, I think we mostly got them right. So do let us know if we missed things.
You're always so positive at the end.
Well, I think for the general dice rolling and stuff like that, I think we we obviously missed abilities, and I forgot to use like my caps ability, which would have saved me the game and stuff like that. But aside from that, I think for the rest of it was really simple.
I just love it that Black Widow's getting a burger here. It is simple, and I think it's testament to how simple it is that we didn't totally implode playing it.
No, I don't actually feel.
Read the rules, and I watched one video, really quite a good video, I have to say. If you search for it, it comes straight up how to play.
Yeah.
And that was enough to really understand at least the how to play.
And it doesn't feel like the game is massively demanding. Setup is usually quite easy. You've got a few things around, but there's not masses and masses and masses of terrain, which, okay, when you're playing something like 40k, it does look good when you've got all the terrain there. What that does mean is a massive headache during the game of playing, trying to move models and stuff around. Yeah. This was much simpler in that respect. This kind of hits a bit more of a sweet spot for me between God Tier, which I feel was maybe a bit too simple, but had hexes, which I liked, and Kill Team, which is maybe a bit too hard.
Somewhere in the middle. I think
if they put this onto hexes, then my God, I'd be in ambrosia.
We need a bit more terrain, I think, for future games.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting that.
More scattered terrain and stuff like that. Get some, bins and plants and generally other stuff like that. But we just need to raid our children's Lego boxes, and we'll probably find millions of things in there. There's trees and shrubs and
all sorts of things,
all kinds of stuff. These, by the way, are shipping containers, which I think do a marvellous job in the circumstance. So
thank you very much.
Well done there, Robin.
That has raided the bin. I wanted to find more of these bits, which are actually shipping containers, but I only found one.
These ones. You're going to have to go through, work out what that's from, and then we'll go online. I mean, I can't really think of anything really negative that I thought I didn't enjoy that. And after a few games of Kill Team, again, coming back to Kill Team, I know, but that's the most recent skirmish game we've played to compare it to. I definitely come out of that feeling very mentally drained, trying to work out what's going on. This, I haven't really felt that.
No, I did a little bit when I couldn't use these powers. But other than that, no. It was really fun.
The only one disappointment that I have. One other disappointment, apart from the rulers, and it's equally benign. The thing I'm not too fond of.
Benign or banal?
Benign, banana. The only thing I'm not massive fan of, when you throw a car at someone, it doesn't do very much damage.
They are superheroes.
Yeah,
I did throw it
true.
at Captain America.
True, but then Captain America got kneecapped by Black Widow, and that took him out.
She's good, Black Widow.
She just walked up to him and just pumped one into his kneecap and walked up, and he's just laying on the floor going, "Oh God!" Whereas 2 seconds earlier he was headbutting cars out the way.
Yeah, well, that's why.
Get your
weakened his knee.
I don't care about your Renan again. I'll do it. And she just walks over and bam, bam, and he's down.
He had dodgy knees from where he caught the car.
Yeah, it could have been. I might have missed out one of his abilities again to make him a bit less
squishable,
shootable.
So
possibly. Hard to tell. But yeah, I guess you're right. You don't want a car doing too much damage to them because they are superheroes. I mean, they are lighting the cars at each other in the first place.
And if it was too bad, then you throw stuff and then
that would be
that
all you'd be
person's
doing.
out.
That is
and then
true.
there'd be no terrain left on the board.
There is that.
I forgot actually. I don't know whether it made a difference. I could have thrown him using my. Oh no, it has to be a terrain feature.
Yeah.
So.
I need Hulk. That's what I'm saying. I need Hulk. I've got to have Hulk in this game. Hulk must smash.
And Hulk, I think, is getting new stats, so we need to look out for those.
Interesting.
Because this is the other really good thing about AMG. They revise the characters and things and provide new character cards for free. They will do it online, obviously, but they will do packs.
You can then print them out, and
they are going to do packs of them as well. So the characters that are too weak, they're going to update. So I guess that's really nice if you spend, because Hulk's not a cheap character. So if you spent however much it was to buy Hulk, gone through the effort of painting him, and then he's rubbish.
Yeah.
But they've released a new one. In fact, it's a Rastro today. Painter Extraordinaire has done a beef up Hulk video where he's actually converted his Hulk for the new rules, which is pretty cool.
Wicked. I've got a Hulk at home, a Lego Hulk.
Oh.
He's bigger. He's about yay big.
I've got a Thanos that size.
Rah! Excellent.
We'll try and get them both.
We're going to have Hulk versus Thanos.
Yeah.
And that's probably the other aspect of this for me that I really love is the fact that it's Iron Man fighting, in this case Spider-Man, which doesn't make quite so much sense. But something's going on there, and they're having a fight, and the Iron Man, Captain America, Ricochet shot earlier. Captain America throwing his shield and ricocheting off of Red Skull's head into Spider-Man. All of that's much more sort of just real.
Cinematic.
It is much more cinematic.
Less real. I don't know.
Whatever it is, it's much more visually sort of just stimulating.
It's more relatable in some ways, in a bizarre way, because we've
seen all the Marvel films. We've seen it happening all the time on the screen, and now it's happening on this table.
Yeah, actually, one thing, I don't know if any of you is watching it still, after we've rambled on. I think we're probably going to, rather than playing like competitive, because we never really played a competitive meta anyway, we're probably going to try and look for narrative versions of
any good storylines.
So
in
I
the
don't know if
or
there are
like
any narrative. I don't know if there's any narrative stuff that AMG have produced, but I'm sure people out there have done some narrative stuff. So if you know any way, the best way to play this with a narrative way, then I'd love to know it. So
my only hang-up is that it does bug me that there's Spider-Man next to Red Skull and stuff. It's like if I was doing it, I'd have to have like the Avengers or the X-Men or whatever.
Well, that's why narrative is the way to go, I think.
Yeah,
because you can do that then.
Yes, exactly.
You can do that, because I was reading an interesting blog about a guy who was talking about the fact that he always wanted to play X-Men, I think.
Yeah.
But he was played competitively, and he was finding that people were, because you get an extra bonus if you have an affiliated team, so you can use your cap leadership thing, but it's not that massive a bonus.
Yeah.
And I think there are just now combinations of fighters actually just better just to take the unaffiliated ones. I suppose it's similar in Underworlds. It's better just to take universal cards than faction cards.
Yeah.
And so you sort of that kind of, you lose the identity of the group that you're fighting with, because there isn't one. There's no. It's just the best five fighters you can find.
Yeah, exactly. There's Wolverine fighting next to Red Skull fighting next to it, and it just doesn't make sense.
And so it's got a rather long way around it. But he was saying he really wanted to keep playing his X-Men, and there was quite an interesting article about how he was doing that. But I think I would like try and play narratively and have the same core team. You have to choose 10, and then pick
different ones,
the number of points. For the number of points you play. But I'd like to have a narrative where one of us was the bad guy and one of us was a good guy, or maybe like Asgard or something.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. So for me, this gets a thumbs up. I really enjoyed that. I don't know if the Lego made it better, but it didn't make it worse. That's all I'm saying. And the rules themselves, everything was actually quite simple once we started playing it.
Yeah. So I think, unless none of you watch it and you'll hate it,
Yeah.
you'll almost certainly be seeing this back on the channel.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think with playing with Lego we're ever going to be like our top competition players.
No.
But we'll hopefully be fun players.
But the competition place has never been our market.
It really hasn't. So
Never.
hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, do like and subscribe with videos. Tell your friends. Tell all your Marvel Crisis Protocol playing buddies about it. How great it is.
Or if you got here because you're into Lego and you just want to see
Yeah.
what the heck this was all about, let us know what you think.
Yeah, because I reckon you could, if you've got Marvel figures Lego, you could very quickly find the rules for this online and play it with minimal fuss. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if people come in from that route. But yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to see. If you know any good matchups that we should play. I know Matt, who watches a lot of us, he's big into his Web Warriors, so it'd be great to get those onto the table. And then we'll go from there.
So we'll see you soon in the Marvel Crisis Protocol universe.
Bye. So if I've got the MCU, I suppose it'd be the LMCPU.
Okay.